Yo, how's it going? I'm gonna do a few myths about gaining muscle since my fat myths went pretty good. So I figured, there are myths about gaining muscle too, which a lot of people kind of throw around in their diets, and I see it all the time. My buddies do it sometimes. I did it. So the one thing that's kind of hard about creating these videos is I know what's true now, and I start to forget about what I used to believe, if that makes sense. But um, we'll see. See what I can come up with off the top of my head. Holy, that was terrible. But um, the first one, okay, is more protein equals more muscle growth. That's not true. Don't eat more protein thinking you're going to gain more muscle. That's not how it works. There's a set amount you can digest, right? Everybody has that number. Usually it's 1 gram per pound per body weight, but um, it can be anywhere from point 0.8 to 1.2, based on what I've heard and what I know. But yeah, shoving a bunch of protein in your diet, the only thing that's going to do is make you more full. So I mean, if you're cutting, maybe throw in more protein in your diet. That'll probably make it easier. That's what I did. I used to do 180. Now I'm doing anywhere from 200 to 220 grams of protein, just because it helps me feel full and not worry about eating more. So, yeah, I don't recommend it. The next one I want to get into is if you aren't sore, that doesn't mean you didn't get a good lift, right? If you're a new lifter and you're feeling this way and you're not getting sore, maybe there's something there. By new lifter, I mean like this is your first like week or two of training. If you've been training for a few months and you're starting not to feel as sore as you used to, that's not a bad thing. That doesn't mean you're not growing, right? Being sore isn't always a bad sign either. It can be good or bad. It's all about kind of how you look at it, right? Because if you're too sore, you could not be recovering properly, whether you're going too many times a week or you're hitting the gym a little hard. If you're not feeling sore at all, I mean, you could be maybe going too easy, because you want to make sure you're feeling a good pump and you want sets to feel hard. As long as they feel hard, you're doing it right, okay? Because to get about 60% of your potential gains, you need to hit 2 sets for each muscle group till failure every week, right? I heard that from Jeff Nippert. So I take him because he's like the smartest guy on YouTube about that stuff. So a lot smarter than me, right? So another one. Let's see what I got down here. Lifting heavy is the only way to grow. Ooh, that's a good one. You don't always need to lift heavy. Lifting heavy is not the way all the time, unless you're going to powerlifting, like you're going to some competitions, which I've wanted to do a little bit, because lifting heavy is fun. Lifting heavy, you can still build muscle too, but you don't need to lift heavy to build muscle. You can lift the same weight for 5 years in lifting and still gain muscle. Like that, it works. You just have to make sure you're pushing hard on those sets, right? Obviously, you don't want to do the same exercises because then if you re-tear the same muscle fibers, right? Because we all have muscle fibers that we tear open when we lift hard. And eventually, they're just going to get kind of immune to that. That's why you need to stretch it in different ways. Like, for example, chest flies. You go like this, right? That stretches your chest kind of the long way, right? After you do those for a couple of weeks, switch it up with bench press. Start bench pressing more, right? Or do both. I mean, you can do whatever you want, but lifting heavy isn't always the way. That's why some of the biggest guys lift the lightest weights, because when you lift lighter, you build more hypertrophy. That's why they call like 3 sets of 12 is more hypertrophy focused, and 3 sets of 6 is more strength focused, right? It's all about what you want to build. So let's see. I have, you can spot train muscle growth. By spot train, what do I mean? I mean, if I work out my biceps, I'm going to lose fat in my biceps. If I work out my core and do this ab workout, I'm going to lose fat in my core. That's not how any of that works. Very, very big myth. If you do an ab circuit 6 minutes a day, it's making your abs stronger, and if you're losing fat, you might lose some there, but you don't pick where you lose fat. You can't. It's just, you lose fat wherever. That's why I'm more fat dense in my legs, right? That's where a lot of my fat hides, right? My arms and my belly area aren't super fat dense. It's my legs that take up a lot of that. And no matter how much I train legs, like I can do Stairmaster for 30 minutes at level 8, which is pretty good. And my legs are, they still got a lot of fat in them, you know? So, um, yeah, it's one thing where you just kind of have to lose weight. That's why some bodybuilders and powerlifters you'll see, they'll go in to get surgery to remove that because, you have to go to insane levels to cut out certain areas of fat, right? So that's why, what can you do? We all retain fat differently. So, um, but what best you can do is just calorie deficit. Now, next one. You have to train every day. Okay. Completely false. I train 4 days a week, at least of intense strength training, right? And then my other 2 days, I do some jogging, some Stairmaster, just something. And then my seventh day, I just rest. Because you can have anywhere from 1 to 3, maybe even 4, maybe 5 rest days. If you're working out 2 times fairly hard in a week, you're going to get muscle growth and all that stuff. Obviously, there's a limit and you're not going to get the max amount, but you are going to gain a good amount. So don't train every day. If that's just your speed running fatigue. I had a guy reach out to me in DMs and he was asking me about stuff. And he's like, yeah, I've been training really hard, man, every day of the week. And I'm like, dude, that's not what you want to do. You're not going to gain muscle doing that, right? You're going to get super fatigued. That's why you've been tired. And then he goes, I don't think he responded. I don't know why. Maybe he was offended or something. I don't know. Shout out to you if you're watching this, bro. But yeah, man. Next one, okay. Whew. You'll get bulky fast. Nah. Unless you're eating a lot, you're gonna get like fat. But that's not how it works. Muscle takes a lot of time to build. Like I think the limit is 2 pounds every 2 weeks of muscle is the absolute max. So, and that's far shooting it, right? So no, you can't get bulky fast. If you're lifting and you're worried about getting bulky, you're growing super fast. You're not gonna grow those areas that fast, right? Muscle you can control where you go, unlike fat, right? You can control where you grow muscle because you hit that muscle more. That's why some people have crazy big arms and their chest is really small because they don't train chest as much. Or maybe it's a genetic thing. I don't know. But no, not true. Another one. Supplements are essential. Okay. No, not true at all. Supplements are not essential for growth. I think I went my first 3 years of lifting without supplements, and I got a lot of muscle without it. So you do not need that. You can do creatine. I recommend that because you're kind of just sleeping on natural gains. So yeah, don't worry about that. Don't worry about like steroids or anything. Don't try taking those unless you're trying to get into like some insane bodybuilding. But yeah, I mean I recommend some supplements like vitamins and stuff like that just because you feel better and electrolytes. But pre-workouts and post-workouts you don't need. Post-workouts can be helpful and pre-workouts can be helpful, but realistically they're just really they're really high-priced caffeine drinks from what I see. I mean, you can get some good pump serum that helps you get a better pump, but realistically, eat some oatmeal and maybe have like coffee before you work out. Like you're gonna get the same kind of results, right? They're not gonna give you as much growth as you think. Let's go to another one here. What do I have? Let's see. I think this is my last one here. Okay, no. I got two more. For you guys. You need to confuse your muscles constantly. I mean, I've kind of seen this. People don't word it just like that. They usually say like you can't hit the same workout over and over again. You can, right? You definitely want to switch it up every now and then. But you don't need to completely stop a workout. Maybe like every 2 weeks, switch it up. But if you're just starting, hit the same workout for like a month or two. Because you need to get fluent with those exercises and working them out and making sure you're hitting the muscles correctly and work on your form and get good at those so you understand form and how to activate certain muscles when you do a lift, right? For me, I struggle a lot with activating my lats on workouts, like when I would do back, right? Because you're supposed to fully extend and get your lats flexed out and then pull back and pinch. A lot of people can't really get that pinch in their back, right? It takes some effort, and I understand. Um, but yeah, so don't do random workouts. Hit similar muscles on workouts. You don't need to confuse them and do like 5 different splits a week either. That's not good. Now, last one here. You can't build muscle while cutting. Now, this is kind of everywhere because it's possible, but beginners and people that are kind of in a recomp um, can build muscle. If you're a bodybuilder and you cut, you're not going to gain muscle. But if you're a newbie, your body reacts in a lot of new ways because it's not used to lifting. So you have a good chance of being able to gain muscle while also cutting. So it works, right? You can gain strength. I know you can gain strength pretty easily, but muscle is kind of a weird one that's everywhere. You just need the right approach. So if you guys are looking for the right approach at a lot of these stuff and you're still figuring out myths and new stuff everywhere and you've made it this far in the video, clearly you guys are serious. Don't be afraid to book a call with me. I love talking to you guys, and we can see if maybe I can help you out. If not, you can check out my Instagram too. Post all the time on there, and you can just kind of see what I'm up to on a day-to-day. And I do a lot of talking stories, so yeah, you guys can get annoyed by that, but peace.